We've gone through a lot of crap. Like we've just weathered a lot of storms. We've seen a lot of things. And it's like, oh my gosh, there were a ton of sleepless nights trying to figure out all of the different regulations and all of that. But there is an element where there is just this level of grit of like, I'm going to get through this no matter what. I love this business. I really want it to be successful. I'm the right person to run it and do that right now. And if you don't change, others around you will, and they'll take the market share.
If you're going to start from zero today, could an entrepreneur just start up, got very little money, could they start a manufacturing gig like what you guys are doing? Is it possible to do today, or is this something unique?
You could do it. It would be.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today's guest is Melanie White. She's the CEO of Hellwig Products and chair of the SEMA board of directors, a fourth generation leader of nearly an 80-year-old automotive brand. And she's the first woman ever to lead Hellwig. Having worked her way up from cold calling through sales, marketing, and executive leadership, Melanie has been recognized as SEMA's Person of the Year, SEMA's Business Woman's Network Woman of the Year, and one of SEMA's 35 under 35, a testament to her impact, leadership, and long-term vision in the automotive market. Melanie, that is quite the introduction. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So for everybody who's listening out there, I ask everybody to kind of tell me a little bit about themselves, before they get on the show. And I didn't realize that you were on the SEMA board of directors. How'd you end up on the SEMA board of directors? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I've been volunteering in my industry. So I've been within Hellwig for 21 years. My anniversary just happened. I actually think it's today. So I've been with Hellwig. Yeah, thank you. And I've been volunteering 20 years of that 21 within the automotive industry. So I've been volunteering for a long time. So they have all kinds of different ways that you can volunteer, but I got to the highest position that you can volunteer at, being the chair of the board of directors. So yeah, I didn't have my sights on it, but I was, anything that kind of makes me a little bit nervous or I think it's challenging, I'm like, I should do that. And that's what I felt about that. So yeah.
So just persistence, guys. That's what it takes. Persistence. Yeah. So,
and interest.
Yeah. What was that?
And a little bit of interest and curiosity. So I just was always a little bit curious about how I could make an impact. So yeah. Yeah,
for sure. Well, I would imagine you get to have a little bit of an impact with SEMA. SEMA is a huge show for you guys who don't know. It's huge automotive, aftermarket a group. I think most car people know what SEMA is, so it's a pretty big honor to be part of that board. Tell us a little bit more about Hellwig. Tell us, what does Hellwig do? What's that all about?
Yeah, so we manufacture suspension components. So we manufacture both helper springs and sway bars. We've been manufacturing helper springs since we started, and when there were only passenger cars really on the road. Right now, our aftermarket side of our business is really focused on the tow and haul world. And then we're an OE supplier to some companies like Freightliner Custom Chassis, who makes the box trucks for UPS and FedEx. They take those corners really fast. They need extra suspension. So we have our sway bars on those. And then we also private label. So, if you go to Target and you want to buy paper towels, Target doesn't make the paper towels. It's the same. There's not very many people who actually manufacture the sway bars, but we're one of them. So there's very few of us, but there's a lot of people that have labels on them. So we private label in that area too.
Any big private label names that people would recognize that you can share, or is that top secret?
I can't share. I know.
You have to kill us.
Yeah.
You'd have to kill us.
I know.
Okay.
You'd all have to sign an NDA.
Yeah, all of us. All right. Collectively, we'll sign an NDA, guys. Interesting. So you guys make these very niche products, I would say, but very important, because essentially most of your products help with, suspension and keeping vehicles from flipping over is end of the day what they do.
So they're really going to help stabilize. Yep.
Stabilize.
Yeah, I have this big curvy road behind me, but that's really it's to help you on any curvy road, on any sort of windy conditions. we also, what kind of makes us our niche within that space is we heat treat hot form. So we have a lot of furnaces here that we get the metal red hot, and we form it, and then it goes through an oil bath, and then we heat it back up. So it has that like extra rigidity to the bar, but not too rigid, right? So it has like that flexibility where it's always going to go back to that original shape. And the heat treating hot forming process helps with that.
This would be what I would consider to be one of those businesses, and don't take offense to this, but this would be relatively like a boring business. It's not flashy or exciting. It's suspension, it's way bars and whatnot. Is that, did you just like wake up one day and, like, this is what I want to do? I want to make, suspension parts.
Yeah. So if you walked our shop, it's not that boring because of the furnaces and all of that. But you're right. It's a really hard product to sell because it's hidden, it's tucked away. It's a very like visceral feeling. It's like you have to, it's the driver is the one that like experiences it. So not even everyone in the vehicle. So it is a very like tactile feeling. So it makes it very hard to sell. But it's a fun business to be in because I'm out like testing products. I have product on my my vehicle now, and I was just in the desert, like bombing through the desert, making sure I'm not going to do anything. Seeing if I could do anything to my product, right? Because I have some test stuff on there. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay, that's kind of
so
fun. I guess
that part is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm in the SEMA world. Like we're doing super cool stuff. I mean, I was just sort of, the end of the year, I kind of go back through like all the cool things I got to do within a year. And I just, being in this industry, you get to do some really cool stuff that I never thought I would be able to do. So, yeah.
I would say definitely overall industry has a cool, and what you provide is an absolutely necessary part of pretty much every vehicle. So it's good to be needed. You are an essential business in today's world.
Yeah.
So the thing that kind of struck me that's interesting about Hellwig is that you guys are still a made in America company, right?
We are.
100% of your products made in America, or is anything outsourced? Canada, Mexico, China, anything like that? Or is it all made in America?
I mean, there are like nuts and bolts and things like that will go into our kits that are made outside. But no, we make everything here. We own all of the manufacturing process too. I never thought I'd get so excited about like manufacturing, but I think it's really interesting. But some manufacturers will make the actual, so like the sway bar, but they outsource it to get it powder coated, or they outsource it to get it machined or something like that. We do everything in-house. So everything for Hellwig here is done in-house. We own the whole process from, a round stock coming in, flat stock coming in, to it being a helper spring or a sway bar at the end, and in the full kit. So you can install our products. So you have all the components to go with it. We're manufacturing and designing the components for it. We're manufacturing and designing some of the equipment. We're adjusting the equipment for that. We make all of our own dies in-house because you can't buy that off the shelf. So we own that whole process, which I think is really cool. And we do that all here in the US. So we powder coat in-house. We shot blast in-house. So we're doing it all here.
Now it's unique. And the first thing that I think while you're talking is, why not just make the nuts and the bolts? But I guess maybe it just doesn't make sense, because you're already making everything.
No, you can. You can buy it real cheap other places. So and that's not our wheelhouse. We can't compete, right? Like when you look at where are the edges of where we can compete, I'm always looking at that for us as a business, and that's not, someone else has that market. That's not something like,
that's not what you guys do.
Yeah, as exciting as what we do.
And you guys have been around for 80 years now. I imagine this is a family business.
It is. Yeah. So I'm fourth generation. So my great grandfather started the business in 1946. He actually had the idea before that. And he couldn't get steel. He couldn't get, all of the things that he needed to, because we were we were at war. So after that, my great grandfather and grandfather, my grandfather was a senior in high school and sort of helped with that as well, starting the business. So they started it as a side hustle. So they would sell over the weekends to small shops, and then they'd also sell door to door, and they would manufacture by renting space in a spring shop at night. So they'd manufacture at night after both of them had their day commitments, day job for my great grandpa and high school for my grandpa, and then they would sell on the weekends. And then we'd install the product and everything in the driveway for $7. I don't think I even get to buy very many things for $7 anymore.
No.
Yeah, we were doing that then.
Your great grandfather started it. Your grandfather took it over. Did your father or mother take it over from there?
My father then took it over from there. Okay. Yeah. And right now, my father's getting ready to, he fishes a lot more and he hunts a lot more, but he's really close to retirement. So, but he's taken, more of a back seat so that he can do a little bit more of that fun stuff.
So that's pretty cool that you come from a line of hustlers, movers and shakers, people who act, which is becoming more and more rare, honestly. But the thing that I think about is you have this company, and most people's, when you see everything online, social media, right? Like build a business, right? Start a business, but everybody has like the end goal of selling out. And it seems like if you guys did sell out, you sold it to the next generation, or you guys passed it along. How come no one's sold out yet? Are you going to sell out when you take over? Do you have a goal or a vision or dream from here? Like, where does Hellwig go, and why haven't you guys sold out already?
Yeah, so you're right. There's offers all the time. Our business is pretty attractive in that way. And I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. So I think as long as I'm having fun, I'm contributing. That's part of it. The fun of it, right, is contributing to the community as well as my industry. I love my customers and having that relationship. I do know that, I love this business. I really want it to be successful. And I do know that I'm the best person to run it and do that right now. And I, if I'm getting tired or worn out and not that good at it, I think I might think of that. But, there's the next generation. So I have a few, and my son is 16 and is interested definitely in the industry, not working with me though, but he's 16, so he doesn't want to do anything with me. So he might have some interest in it. I have a niece that, has shown some interest, and there's no pressure. I don't know what that will look like. I'm sort of just open to seeing how things play out. But in the meantime, I'm just going to have fun doing what we're doing.
Yeah. So continue to have fun. As long as you're having fun, that's the main thing. So it must be a fun business. I guess answering part of my question, though, how come your father or, your grandfathers didn't sell out? Was it not big enough yet, or is just not something that is legacy more important, I guess, is what I'm trying to get out of you. Like what's your guys' family philosophy on business?
Yeah, I don't know that we ever have that, like, said that out loud, but legacy is for sure important in my family. So yeah, it probably leans more to that than selling. And we were smaller. Since I've gotten in the business, we have grown quite a bit. So since I've been here, tripled, almost quadrupled the business. So that helps.
That's really cool, because you don't see a lot of legacy. You do, but you don't. It's very rare to see like a multi-generational business continue to be successful. And, being in a multi-generational business, what do you think is one thing? Let's be honest, a lot of legacy businesses fail. What do you think causes other businesses to fail that your guys' business has exceeded in or prevented?
That's a good question. During COVID, I was at the helm during that time. I had just become majority owner months before the pandemic hit, right? So I'm leading this legacy brand we've gone through a lot of crap. Like we've just weathered a lot of storms. We've seen a lot of things, and it's like, oh my gosh, we haven't seen this though. So
Yeah.
I'm leading this company during that time. And like, yeah, but there is an element where there is just this like level of grit of like, I'm going to get through this no matter what, and be better on the other side. So I think that commitment to that, like that grit, and it wasn't fun. There were a ton of sleepless nights trying to figure out all of the different regulations and all of that. But I will say that, there's just that commitment. And not to say that other legacy brands don't have that commitment, but it is being able to adjust to what's in front of us, right? And I think my company has done a good job of that, of adjusting to that. And I think each generation had their own ability to make those changes too. And so that's what I see in my position now, is just how do I need to, future-proof our business? But that is like change. And that's something that I've always been, I welcome is change. And I think that is in the legacy businesses, you can get a little bit stagnant. And so you have to change or die. Like I have a saying, a quote, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. It's like, I don't want, but I like it here. I like doing this every day. But it's like, if you don't change, others around you will, and they'll take the market share.
That's true. That is the one thing that is universally true, is everything will change, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because like when I think about your guys's, business that's been around for generations, I think you guys are a rare case, because I look at just in the automotive industry a lot. You see a lot of dealers out there. I work with a lot of car dealers, RV dealers. And a lot of them, they'll have, the dad started it, the son or daughter will get involved. And then next thing you know, they're selling out to AutoNation,
I know.
And so I would imagine you have your own set of fierce competition and competitors. So you guys must be doing something special that you guys have been able to continue to grow and change and adapt, and avoid getting bought up, by private equity and Wall Street, And interesting. So being a manufacturer in the United States, we've had a lot of talk last year about manufacturing in the United States. Tons of it. You had to have been the center of attention for quite a while. What are your thoughts? Has tariffs in the United States helped your manufacturing business, hurt it, or made no difference at all? What are your thoughts?
So it's interesting. So I am like 95% of what we make is here, and we make all of it, right? And in 2018, when the tariffs hit steel, there's this, oh my gosh, we're going to pay 25% on steel coming in the US. I buy all of my steel in the US or in Canada. So all of it is in, North America. Mm-hmm. And I saw from 2018, so I can see a little bit more into the future, right? Past that. So during COVID and those times, my steel prices didn't just double. I paid 5 times on some steel, what I do per pound. And that I'm now backed off. I'm paying like 4 times as much, maybe 3 times as much, but that's still really significant. In my business, that's like that is most of my material cost is in that. Yeah. So what happened during that was like the supply and demand. We didn't have the supply available in the US. So the demand was so high. So not only did I pay more, I also waited. I would be able to get some steel like even overnight. And I went from like getting it overnight to getting it in 10 weeks. So it really screwed up our supply chain during that time. So I'm not a big fan of tariffs, because at that time too,
what about today?
It's trying to even out.
Has it changed at all today? Because we had a new round of tariffs last year. So
Yeah, so that's helped a little bit for me because what happened in 2018 was also the incoming products. So I could have competition who made something in Taiwan and ship it in, and they'd get no tariff on it. It was only the steel that was getting the tariff. So if they bought the raw material and brought it in, they'd get the tariff. So this last round has helped a little bit, but not a lot, because my steel price still, like the supply and demand is still challenged here in the US, that I'm still not able to compete to the level that I want to. And I really want that business. Like I want that, but I'm not going to make something at a loss. So it's been really challenging. I've quoted a ton of stuff this year, and I want all of it, but I'm not getting all of it. So that's
let me ask you this question then. So you're the first woman president of Hellwig. Let's say you're the first woman president of the United States, and you still have that manufacturing brain in the back of your mind. Is there anything that you think that, Donald Trump could or should do, or you would do if you were him, if you were president, that would help manufacturers here in the United States?
Yeah, I think a lot of it probably goes more into the incentives and like tax reliefs and reliefs. I manufacture in California, so I have plenty of challenges there on the
that's another thing you got going for you. Yeah.
So I think all of that sort of relief is that would help us a lot more than the taxing of products getting made somewhere else. Yeah. So I don't think tariffs are the answer on that, but hey, I'm also not really practicing that. I just know how it's affecting my business, and that's what I'm really interested in.
Yeah, no, how we could fix it for manufacturers in America is my question. Dang, I had another good question for you on that topic, but I lost it. So made in America, do you guys, is it really worth, is there any difference in the products made in America? Like, why should Americans focus on buying made in America? Tell me, what's your pitch on that? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so we can control. So like I was saying, I own my whole practice. I feel like there's just so much that we get to control for quality that you don't control outside of the US. I think that there are also there's better working conditions. I'm motivated for my employees to be safe and protected and all of those things, but it also the state also has a very strong interest in that and the manufacturing here. So I think it's quality, it's better working conditions, but really it goes to, I think, why I want to buy made in America is that quality, and then that also that ability to have that really strong customer service. So it's not just the quality of the product when you buy it, it's how does it get serviced over time? And I think buying in the US, you have that as well.
That's a great point, actually. And I want to speak on that for a second. Service after the sale, let's say you buy a part that's, 20, 30% cheaper, but something happens to it, it breaks. Well, it's made in another country. What are you going to do? Call that manufacturer up and try to get them to pay for it? No. On your guys' website, I noticed that you have your warranty right there on your website, and you got the phone number of who to call if something's not right. And I bet you guys would make it right. Yeah. And I think that's a huge advantage, because we have that problem a lot with tires in the RV industry, where you have these cheap manufacturers overseas. I won't name a country, China, where essentially the tires, they blow out, they just start popping left and right, they delaminate, there's issues with the tires, and the customers are left holding the bill because good luck getting a hold of that manufacturer. And you could try calling the middleman, but middleman may or may not help you. You don't know. And good luck trying to find who the middleman is. So I think that's a good selling point you have in your court there.
Yeah.
So California, I know that's where the business probably started and where it stayed, but it's got to be one of the more expensive places to make something, let alone being made in America. Being made in America in California has got to be expensive. How come you guys don't leave California, go to Nevada, no taxes over there?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it's less, I feel like it's less about expense, like where we're at. It's a pretty affordable place to like live and manufacture and all of that.
Okay.
But I think the bigger part is the just California with all of their state laws around employment practices, like employees have to take their lunch by the fifth hour. And if they don't, you have to pay them an hour wages. Like there's just a lot of hoops to jump through. And if you don't do that at some point, there's lawyers everywhere. It was funny. I was driving outside of California into Idaho, and it was like, all the like law firm billboards were in California. And then once I got into Nevada, it was like I saw like a few, and then Idaho, there were zero, right? So it was just like, oh, this is just an interesting like look at like what's important. I don't know what gets attention in each state too. So I think more than anything, it really is that the employment practices part of the business that becomes the most challenging. And we have a lot less freedom to be flexible with our employees, to work with them on different like timelines for their days. So that's a little bit harder here in this state. And I don't know, like we'll see if we always stay here. I know there's always opportunities outside of the state too. So and it might be that we have it here and open a different one too. So I have ideas.
You just hear like, what's that one guy's name? He's always on the news, Kevin O'Leary. He's always talking about, I'd never open a business in California or New York. And so my thoughts, I'm not from California. I used to actually live in Las Vegas for the longest time. And so we know all about California. But for my thoughts, way easier said than done, of course. But if I was in California, had a business, I could move my business to Nevada or another state and reduce my tax bill, save at least 10, 15%, just on your personal income tax. And then you've got all sorts of other taxes that you have to pay in California. And then on every product made in California, they have to have all these little disclaimers about cancer and whatnot. And so I just think, wouldn't it just make more sense to leave California? Or no?
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't open a business in California. I would agree with Kevin on that one. So, yeah. I mean, I'm in a multi-generational business. My roots are pretty deep here too. So I think that's the other true. Part is my family is all here, and that
hard to get the whole family to move.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it, but I haven't got. Yeah. Oh, I would have to work on it if I was going to do that, right?
Yeah. I get that too, and there's something to be said about what you just said right there with family ties. Like you don't leave the family, and I think there's a lot of families out there who don't have that solid foundation. But it is interesting that I've found I've lived in a lot of places over the years. And I've met a lot of people, and a lot of the families who stay in one spot, whether it be a good spot, in a nice city or in the middle of freaking nowhere, the families that stick together always end up seeming to have quite the legacy, and they always seem to be doing pretty well financially. So I think that's interesting. You think there's any correlation between staying in one spot and, being a financially wealthy family?
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't, it very could be. I mean, we're pretty well ingrained in the community. We're in a smaller area here, the Midwest of California. So a lot more trees and things like that than people here. So I think that's part of it. So like the town that I grew up in, it was 10,000 people when I was there. And then my son's there now and it's 10,000 people. So it sort of like doesn't grow more than that. So, part of that is also like, we're really well, like just connected in the community, but we're also really invested in the community and it being successful.
Yeah, I suppose you would. I think it just goes hand in hand. I mean, if time is the biggest multiplier of wealth, right? So if you have generations of time being put in a certain area and you guys have built up something special, then I think it's only natural. But I think maybe that's part of your guys' formula for success is having a good family foundation. Like it, how would you? I'm always curious to just know like the dynamics of success. I would consider your family to be a success. I'm sure you got you guys' own problems as it goes, and we're getting a little philosophical here, but what do you think? Is there a recipe for success with the family? I mean, how would you? Is there anything you could comment on that? Tell everybody about family. You're a mother. So what
Yeah.
views have been passed down through your generations to keep your family going and together and working together? That's
Yeah.
a whole nother thing.
That is a whole nother thing. So I think one of the big things around work is that we don't talk a lot about the business at the family table. So I'll know like how my brother-in-law is doing. He works for Tonal. I'll know like all of the cool things he's doing there on that end. But because the family business, we just sort of have always had this, it's an unspoken rule. It's not anything that we ever like, no, we don't talk about that, but we don't really like bring the family company to the table. And so I think that has helped with the relationships of like, that isn't, it's a very clear like boundary of like the business is the business. And then our family time is our family time. But our family is like, we just spend a lot of time together. So we do family dinners every Sunday night together. And whether you can make it or not, it's just sort of like, that's always happening. And it's hosted at different people's houses. And so it's just this interesting, like, that sort of like closeness and that commitment to time, each other at a different level. So we spend a lot of time. And then, I'm the oldest of 4 girls.
Oh, wow.
My sisters,
Your poor dad.
Very close to them. Yeah. So like we spend a lot of time together. That like, they're my friends, like they're the best friends that I have. So I think that's something really special.
And that's way easier said than done.
Way easier because there are a lot of personalities that come to that.
Yeah. I used to work for family, and keyword is used to.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know.
So if Hellwig didn't already exist and it wasn't, passed down through generations, and you guys had, this great company and business that you guys have, kept going strong for years. If you're going to start from zero today, could an entrepreneur, just start up, got very little money, could they start a manufacturing gig like what you guys are doing? Is it possible to do today, or is this something unique?
I think you could do it. It would be very difficult. And that's sort of the thing that we have in like the corner of our marketplace is it'd be very difficult to do it in like the way that we manufacture in the heat treating, hot forming. There's a lot of investment on that side of it. And that's something that over time we've been able to build. It's interesting you talk about that. So like where we live in California, it's very heavy in ag. And that's one thing you couldn't come if you were like an entrepreneur and you're like, I want to get started in the agricultural business. Like that's not really a possibility for you to really make wealth in that state because the land is so expensive, trees, all of the things like that would be very difficult. If you wanted to come and make non-heat treated hot formed or non-heat treated suspension components, you probably could do that. I don't know like how scalable that would be because it does take time to get into that. But I think it would be very difficult for someone to come in and build something in this specific niche that we're in.
I could see all the challenges. There's a lot of challenges with manufacturing. I have a friend who's trying to start a small, totally unrelated product, but he's trying to manufacture like a it's a puck. It's called gym puck. It goes in your gym bag, and it's scented, and it has like properties to this little puck that absorb bad odors. So the point is, you take this little puck, you throw it in your gym bag so it doesn't smell. And so
Yeah.
he's doing a homegrown business, starting it from his garage right now. And I guess my question to you, to kind of sum up your last topic, was, is made in America, is it still possible to start from the ground up? You just have to find the niches, or what are your thoughts on, starting more manufacturers, homegrown manufacturers in the United States? Can it be done?
Yeah, I do believe that can be done. And there's a lot of, it's, I want to say manufacturing, but that's not it. There's a lot of manufacturing that still happens that could like be a component of something that you want, to make too. So there's a lot of, for instance, in our area, like a lot of machine shops that could do a lot of work that like could help, create a package of some sort in the end. So I do think that you could get help from people that are already actually manufacturing in the US. So if I was going to go start a manufacturing company today, what I think I would do is probably lean more on the people that already are doing some of the manufacturing, and then package that together. So manufacture the element that is my specific niche, but then get help from other people that are doing it. I mean, it's kind of where we got started in the private label side of things too, is that, they have maybe a particular like component part that they want to sell more of, and they need the rest of the kit to go with it. And so they can lean on someone like us. So that's where I think the business there, like the opportunity lies, is like lean on the people that are already here, and build off of that.
So start with a private label, build your brand, and go from there. Start bringing in-house what you can bring in-house.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, you got to get some money flowing in.
You do. Yeah.
So running a manufacturer, it's different. I work with a lot of dealerships. I don't know much about running a manufacturer plant. Could you tell us about what it's like to run a manufacturing company? Tell us what are the departments that you have to deal with? What does your day-to-day look like? What are the challenges that manufacturers have, aside from cost of parts, which we know all about?
Yeah. Cost of materials. Yeah.
Cost of materials.
We'll
Yeah.
get you. Yeah. No. And so we have the production part of our business that starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we get real hot here during the summer. So
Oh gosh,
we'll be triple digits here, and so and then you're in front of a furnace. So we do start early, and it's really hard on the team if you're adjusting their times from like, we have a 5 o'clock start time to we're having an 8 o'clock start time. So we consistently have a 5 o'clock start time just because of our summer temperatures. And so the manufacturing team starts at 5. And I'm here some days walking the factory at 5 just to see what's going on, see what's needed, what's happening during that time. But we have our production. So we have, we'll start manufacturing we actually have someone that comes in, our maintenance team comes in at 3:45, 4 o'clock to have to light furnaces and everything to be ready at 5 o'clock. So furnaces are all ready and hot and ready to go at that time so that we can start manufacturing right at that time. And then just, the expectation of office hours, like the office here is open from 7:30 to 4, or our phones are open so that we can kind of cover a little bit of both coasts. So that we just have a little bit of a different schedule here because of the manufacturing portion. But we have different departments. So our research and development team that I run as well as our I actually don't run that department. I lead that department is what I should say. Our quality control, like there's just all of these different components within manufacturing that we need. So our safety officer, there's all the areas. I started cold calling in the business though. So what my background, I started on the sales end of it. So I'm really still like,
that's the, and I know sales.
yeah. But, and I'm still really like, I've dove way, head first into the manufacturing portion of the business, but I still like have my like customers that I'm like, oh no one else gets to talk to them. I get to talk to them. There's that like, that connection to customers that I still really love. So it's interesting. While I'm really heavy into production and that side of the business, I've learned a lot over the last few years. The sales end is really like, it's where I started and it's where like my comfort zone. I really love being in that space.
So is there more fun in the sales side or the manufacturing side? What side do you like better? Because I think it's two different things.
It's two different things for sure. So I think I have a little bit of ADHD, to be honest. So I think there's a little bit of where I'm like, oh, I get to do both. And so I'm never bored because I'm like kind of playing in two different spaces. But I'm always going to say like sales is the part that I can lean on. And like I said, is my comfort zone. So I'd probably say sales.
And so the people that you guys are selling, do you guys sell direct to the public?
We do have on our website. So if someone else fulfills for us, but you could buy on our website. But we do very few interactions direct.
So most of your sales go through what I would refer to as your dealers? Or what do you guys refer to them? Your distributors?
Dealers, distributors. Yep. So,
okay.
We have some big places that keep all of our stuff in stock. And then, dealers can buy off of the distributors and what they have.
So when it comes to the sales side of things, like that's how I normally help most businesses, is helping them sell more stuff. So you have a platform to talk to my audience right now. A lot of dealers. I would do work with some manufacturers I talk to out there. Are you guys looking for more, distributors or partners or, who could help you guys out? How can, me and my audience help you guys out, continue to be a family legacy and sell more parts?
Yeah, thanks. I think the biggest there's a big opportunity. So when I was cold calling, I thought everyone was supposed to be my customer, right? And what I've learned is over time is that, oh no, you've got to find the right niche. It's like, does it make sense for us to work together? But I think one of the things in what we do, it's hidden, it's tucked away, so people don't think about it very often. So the big thing that dealers can help with is really like being an education source for, there is a solution for the problem that you're having with your vehicle. So, you will hear like I white knuckle drive. Okay. Well, okay, let's back into like what that really is. Like, what are you feeling when you have white knuckles, right? And then it's that education piece of like, oh, these are options for that. So I think that's the element of like, a lot of times customers don't even know that what they want in the end, right? They just know they have a problem. So the real thing I think that your dealer network could help with is that education piece of like, if you're having problems with sway, there is a solution for that. Like upgraded suspension, like front and rear sway bars make a huge difference. OEs are designing for they're designing for the middle and not the edges, right? And the aftermarket, the cool thing about the aftermarket is that we get to play more at the edges. So like someone who's really pushing their vehicle more than what the OE designed it for. So that's where I think there's like a lot of fun, but there's also then people are like, wait, I bought this vehicle. I bought this F-250. I expected it to like have all the things and it just doesn't. they're not like the OE isn't manufacturing it so that you can have a cab over camper. You're gonna need suspension upgrades for that. And then what does that look like? And I think that's where that network can really help.
So do like actual like dealers. So you thought about like an RV dealer, just like how you said, they got a lot of, they sell a lot of truck bed campers. Is your part something that a dealership could carry in their, parts department or service department to fit to customers' vehicles?
Yeah. So I think that, if they do a certain amount of certain platforms, yes. So like everything that we do is specific to the vehicle. So, to the platform, to the range, right? So the new F-150, it recently came out, and it had a brake line that they had moved, and so we had to redesign. Even though it's the same model truck, right? They moved something, and then we had to redesign it, right?
Yeah,
yeah. So I think that I would love to say because keep it in your showroom. And this is why we have to have a distribution network, is because there's so many different variations that you have to design for. And so it's designed specifically for that vehicle. So whether it's like the 2026 F-150, or it's you're doing like a 2021 like Dodge, it's going to be a different kit for those. And so that's why I'm like, lean on the distributors. They keep they keep a lot of product on the shelf. And then, you get to like have those opportunities for upsells, but usually distributors can get you the product within a day or so. So I think that's really like where the benefit is.
So if there's a dealer listening right now and they're like, oh, I know I'm familiar with Hellwig. I've been wanting to, carry their products. My distributor doesn't carry Hellwig. How would they get in touch with somebody who they could get a Hellwig product from?
Yeah, so we have, if you wanted to contact us on our website, we have some information there. So if you just put a submission in, we'll get a hold of you, but you could also just call us. We'll give you some options too. So we would very happily point you. But all of the major in the aftermarket space, all of the major distributors do carry our products.
Okay, and if they don't, they should call and let you guys know so you could call them up.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So if they call, I'm like, yeah, call and let me know. If your dealer doesn't, then we'll call them.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like definitely for people who want to get more out of their vehicle and use it and abuse it and not have to worry, about handling and performance. It's good. And if you guys want to support an American-made product so we can get more American jobs and keep family legacies like this going and growing and going on for another 4 or 5 generations, I think it'd be worth it, guys, if you're in the market for what she sells, go to her website and give her a shout or contact your local dealer. Well, Melanie, it's been a pleasure having you on. And I want to just thank you. And I think you're a great guest. I think you have a great company. And I love the values that you guys are putting out there. And guys, hopefully you got a couple of life lessons here from Melanie. I think pretty interesting lady, very respectable woman. And if you guys have any questions, you know where to reach her at. You can find her at, what's your website?
Hellwigproducts.com.
Hellwigproducts.com. And if you guys want to follow Melanie on social media, Melanie, where do you hang out at? Where can people find you if they wanted to drop you a message?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is a great spot. So on LinkedIn, I am Melanie Hellwig White. And then Hellwig, we have both Facebook and Instagram, and that's Hellwig Products.
Hellwig Products. Facebook, Instagram, Hellwig Products. Melanie Hellwig White on LinkedIn. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next episode, and y'all have a good one.